Taurus, we are looking at 2016 here for you and what you can come to expect month by month. Starting off top of the year, it feels like 2015 for many of you have consolidated those things that you set up to power through. And it's leaving you with a feeling of relief, if we can say that, as if you're feeling you're on this new page in your own book of life, now ready to kind of open up, expand, and build upon those things now that has become your new foundation. I see the home and family area right now is feeling more so structured and secured the way that you would like it, and you're full of anticipation, not just because it is New Year, we all do feel that anticipation on top of the year, but straight through the month of January, you're opening up more and more as to what it is you're wanting to take into your life and shunt that forward into February. And February for you definitely here has a feeling of where you are starting up something new, Taurus. And this newness is not necessarily a brand new idea. I feel, from what I'm seeing, it's based upon fragments of your wishes here and there over the last couple of years. It's just like the universe never did give you the time and room to actually expand upon and grow those facets. But this month, it's more gathering all of those facets, just like facets on a diamond, and saying, this is what I'm going to do as far as building my security. And then security is emotional, of course, but security also is the financial foundation of your life. So I'm feeling you're setting yourself up for a good business year, and feeling too that you're going to have the support and partnership that is important to get these things up and running for you. You are listening, Taurus, much more so now to your intuition, I feel, rather than in the past. It's like on some level, you're growing new antennas consciously, spiritually. And this is helping to lead and guide you when you're listening within. Sometimes life gets so busy that we're not really listening to ourselves. We're just charging ahead, doing those things that life calls from us on a daily basis. But you're starting to attune to this higher dimensional self, which consciously is putting you into seeing yourself in your space and importance in the overall of things. March is a month where I see action and activity and lots of communication, busy month for you, but the communication is all good. There is a feeling of catching up with those things that you might have needed to put along the roadside for a while, because you were so busy and emotionally working on other things there throughout 2015. But 2016, there's a new calling, and you're listening to it, and you're acting upon it, Taurus. So I'm really happy to see that the more you attune to those inner messages and where you are true to yourself and authentic with your emotions in your openness and sharing your most inner thoughts with the people that you love. Yes, you could have your close ones and then expanded circles and then the expanded circles, right? But it's really being authentic, real, open, genuine to the ones that are so close with no fear, expressing where you're at, expressing where you're coming from. Because it's when we hold all of those thoughts to ourselves, how do they know what you're really thinking? They're not necessarily all telepathic, right? So unless you share your thoughts and what it is you're trying to achieve, they won't know how to fill your cup. But when you express, you're giving them navigation, Taurus, and then you will see how things will be coming towards you. And I'm feeling here too, April, a good month. You started to set out something new here in your work or your business. This is a big money month for you. April is great. I see how you're just gathering in, putting aside, growing your security. And for you being Taurus, of course, that is always a very important factor to you. But it's really securing the ground for the family as well. And so I'm seeing you leaving the month of April feeling crowned. When I say crowned, it's like from above. So spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, practically, and financially, that you are now in balance, you're in charge, you're feeling that much more liberated and free. And May, I see there is a male. This could be a significant other, it could be a father, it could be a brother, somebody important to you. For some of you, it could be your boss, but I feel it's more so within that emotional circle, where this is going to be a month here where you're going to feel not just feel, you're going to hear good news from this person, but this person seemingly going to bring a surprise upon your path. So happy month here of May. You're just feeling rejuvenated. You're feeling great. Actually, straight through these first 5 months, you're looking like you're just absolutely reborn. And then there's a trip. There's going to be some traveling here this month. Not necessarily, though, the long distance ones, but it looks like you're setting out here for a couple, perhaps, minor trips coming up. And that's good to get out and about, especially because the first few months have been quite dynamic. And you're feeling so alive, or should I say, coming back alive here, Taurus. June, though, it's like, okay, back to the drawing board. Got to power up here as far as work goes. It looks like you took off a little time there in May, but that's all good. You need to do that every once in a while when you're so focused. And it's such a good year for you here thus far that it's always important to find the balance between work and play. Second half of June, there is a concept I see coming to you where you're like, getting the big OMG, and it's surprising even to you. Now, if you capture this idea that comes to you and you act upon it, which I see most of you probably will do already in July, you don't want it to linger. Why? Because then the power of this intuition, this vision that you received, can start withering. And then you may not pick it back up, and then you've lost maybe a half a year or a year before it's going to cycle around, because it definitely will be coming back around. This concept, I feel, is important to you as a major step or a growth in your life. So when it comes up, surprisingly to you, I'd say take notes so that you harvest and hold all of those things that are rushing through your mind like a big white river of creativity, and then see if you can fit it in, because July is going to be busy in itself. There's celebration, maybe there is a big get-together or reunion, or maybe somebody getting married here, but the celebration is great because whatever now is surfacing is something that has previously been put into place, so there's a lot of strength around it. You're feeling powerful. You're feeling whole and complete, Taurus. And also this month, it's good for new beginnings. And if you're incorporating what came up for you there in June, you can already start seeing, I'd like to say there's an inner skeleton, but an exoskeleton too upon that concept that you're building upon. And yes, it does hold a lot of promise. Good money month for you here in July. In August, there's a meeting, a reunion with somebody you haven't seen for a long time. It is a male, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. So, but of course it could be his moon or rising sign. But it's a sweet person. He's creative. He's spiritual. He's more of that type of male that's a little bit more laid back, good listener, and nurturer. So your paths meeting now is not just by coincidence. It is good to catch up, but there's also a behoove, I feel, that he's going to be asking you for your insights that you could share with him on some level. September here for you seems to be a spiritual month. Why? Because I see how you're tuning inwards, wanting to not just recap your spiritual path and spend a little bit more time here, but it's also you on the search, I feel, for certain things within yourself. You're wanting to grow more of who you are. And how can we grow more of who we are without that being spirit guiding us to figuring out where we're at, where we're heading, where we can grow. And then I see you kind of weeding out a little bit whatever needs to be weeded out. We always have a point or two throughout the year where we do look at things that have outgrown its purpose. And I feel that you're pretty happy with it as you're clearing out this space so that you can expand. And it's this expansion of consciousness that I feel is going to be very enticing to you, calling you forward for the most part. Your career this year, there has been things to tackle. You have been on top of it. You have allowed yourself to really be enthusiastic about it. When energy is placed towards what you're passionate about, and you put your passion into your career, this is when, of course, success will follow. Just looking over the year and what you have accomplished thus far, you're feeling pretty good. And when you're in the flow wants more of what? It wants more of the flow. And so I see some interaction here with a female that can empower you, or you're also empowering her, perhaps as a team. And together, this is a great, great time for you. And of course, Taurus, let me just mention you can listen throughout 2016 at any given point in time to go back and listen what the various months, the highlights for these various months are. Because why? We listen to them now. We hear what we resonate with, what we recognize. But then down the road, then, we let go of those things that lay before us because we may not really resonate with them quite yet because they're in the future, right? So come back and do listen every once in a while to see what the highlights for that month is. Now, for you here also, I'm seeing November. It's a month where you have a need to pull back a little bit and rest up. And I'm thinking it's also because of a little challenge that might have been just there on the cusp of October coming into November, and you're meditating upon how to solve this whatever. It's not really a conflict. It's a challenge. And this challenge here, I see that you're thinking, I'm not going to let it linger. I'm not going to let it fester. I'm just going to deal with it. And good for you, because it's when we stuff those things is when we start becoming congested emotionally and spiritually. So I see you kind of looking at it and going, I have the right answer right here, right now. I'm going to act on it. So there's something really important. The rest of the month here in November is really good, but there is one thing here coming up, and it's the message to you to be aware so that you can actually move into the last of the year in a good way. I see you super, super focused December. You're pretty proud of yourself, how you tackled whatever that was, and work seems to be good. There is a sense of victory and that you are in full and complete control of your destination, or your destiny, should I say, for what you're setting yourself up for 2017. So, Taurus, I wish you the best and Happy New Year. Have a beautiful 2016.